House of Representatives with Lucha and Ace of Parrot. Here's the views. So currently in the House of Representatives with Lucha and Ace of Parrot. That's Lucha. That's where I'm at, inside the House of Representatives with Gina and the other members of Ace of Parrot and Lucha as well. This is my 5th time being at the Capitol for the year of 2024. Even though this place has a good history and it's really the best place to learn about and also know about the know about the House Speaker, senators, and also we're gonna go now. Hello. And then
no, they're not.
oh, hello. There's a screen of what's shown on the screen. The next floor, House floor session. That's where it's happening at.
No, but it's like, we're gonna picture the and then I'm sure it's
So I'm currently, I don't know where we're going. We're probably heading upstairs at the House of Representatives. We're probably meeting with I don't know who we're gonna meet though, but let's see and find out. Let's see and find out what's going on. I have to admit, this is the best place to learn about the Senate, the House of Representatives, the State Senate, and the Capitol, which I would like to know. I don't know if I know, but sorry for my repetitiveness. Real loud in here. Real loud in here. But this is what I like learning. This is what I like doing, is learning about what's happening in Arizona. That's what I like learning about. We'll just have to wait and see what's going on. I guess you wanted us to be quiet. We'll just have to wait patiently and see what's going on. It looks like the elevators are going down and up, down and up, down and up, down and up to take someone upstairs and someone downstairs. So what's going on. So that elevator is going down since that's on up, level 1, level 2.
And I get questions.
And where's it going to go to?
And I don't know, it's made me think a lot about,
probably to level 2, I believe.
But it works so perfectly.
Level 1. Made it to level 1. And this one is going up to level 3.
So we just keep each other accountable. It's challenging. Really, we just didn't. But it wasn't good. Yeah.
That's what's going on.
you get along very well or you don't. And then I also think a lot of like stereotypes that are like
well, I'm just gonna end the live stream right here. So, we're back.
We're making progress. So next time they're gonna announce it again, we're gonna move 3 foot. Another hour. 40. Everyone? To where?
What's up, Luke? Ozzy, what's up?
Where's that going? You what?
We haven't announced it inside yet, but we're still waiting. It's part two of being in the House of Representatives. There's the building of it at the state capitol.
Oh, you're recording?
Yeah, I'm live streaming, that's why. On Facebook.
3:30 max is understandable. That's another hour.
Wait, we're waiting till 3:30?
No.
Oh, okay. We're just waiting till we head inside the chamber.
Hey, so I was
We're in the building of House of Representatives.
I was talking to her because she knows Julieta, like their family. But Julieta's like a lady, señora. I was mentioning how y'all were connecting with Sergio, like the jobs
What's
and shit.
going on? Right in front of me.
She was like, wait.
One of these people are waiting to go up on the third level, third floor of this building.
No, but then she was like, no, I'm saying that like they connected with him. Oh, okay, yeah, boss. Yeah. I don't know why on the Duster.
What in the world? What the heck happened to this number? Oh, here we go.
Oh, we're making progress.
Oh, looks like everyone's all leaving. Looks like we're making progress now. Where are we heading, Ozzy?
We're heading into the hearing committee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we're just walking.
So we're heading to the hearing committee, which is where we're at, where we're heading towards, which is what everyone's heading towards to now. Finally making progress to get
Are you ready?
into the House hearing committee.
I'm pretty sure it'll be the floor. So it's pretty, we're gonna be like in the actual, like where everyone meets. Usually when it's in the subcommittees, like they're a little smaller. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like the big one. So it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be a cool experience. Now we're all just making it racial.
We're somewhat making progress, but we're heading towards the hearing committee with the LUCHA and everyone else. Here's what's going on. So everyone's all heading towards the hearing room, known as the hearing committee, which is right there. So that's where we're heading to. So that's where we're at right now. On the first floor of the building of House of Representatives. And this is what's going on right now. A lot of people over here in front of us. Oh man, it's like a big crowd of people. Oh, there goes this guy. He's going upstairs. He's going up the third floor, I don't know. Oh, wait a minute. That other one was going there too. Sorry, sir. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. We have to wait till the chairman decides if we can go in or not. The guy said whatever. Well, this guy right here and the one right here said we have to wait till the chairman decides if we can go in or not. Because we've got to wait. But if the chairman decides not to let us in, we'll be out. We'll just not go in. Oh, I'm so sorry. My fault.
Gina?
Gina. Guess we're going this way, since we couldn't go to the hearing committee. Darn it. So we're gonna probably head into this area, into this direction. Oh, we're heading to the other hearing room. That's on this side. Okay. Can I just leave my water right here? Since the sign says... Okay, thank you. I figured that no, there's no drinks or water permitted. Yeah, thank you. As we're heading in here, here we are in the hearing rooms. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And 5 right there.
What? That's awesome, man. Good luck. Oh, you know what? They literally
Went to the other side of the House of Representatives that we're at still. But we're in a different section of the hearing rooms. For from 1 to 5 hearing rooms, 1 to 5.
4 or 5 for sure.
4 or 5.
Tapos ikaw yan, so we can have everybody fill in down the hall a little bit, just so we can get the
Alright. Oh, it's okay. You're fine. Oh, what is this? Oh, wait. This is House Appropriation Committee. Oh, this is interesting. Look at these guys. We cannot hear them though, but they're working something. They're doing something, or so, I suppose. Oh, we can go in hearing room 4. Okay. Now we're heading to the hearing room. I got it. Oh, sorry. I was getting good in the front. At least we're in the hearing room. Oh, sorry. I'll just move up here. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Sorry. What's he doing? Oh, okay. I cannot believe we're in the hearing room committee. This is so interesting.
I just remember that. There's no one even here. Because we're going to be looking at the screens and stuff on the left.
I guess we're definitely going to be looking at the screens. I wonder what they're talking about in there. Now this is what the hearing room committee looks like. Looks so interesting. Really cool though. But wondering if we're just waiting for someone to come or what.
Today, I want to thank you all. Gracias a todos por venir ahora porque our community is under attack and this tells them, no, not today. Not today. So, hopefully we kill this bill before it moves forward.
Speaker Taylor, your bill's going to be first.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is the Special Committee on Appropriations. Today is Monday, February 19, 2024. The first bill we're going to do is HCR 2060. The second bill scheduled is HB 2768. The third bill scheduled is 2024, followed by 2765. So those are the first four I have scheduled. Also, there's been 2 revised agendas that went out today. So let me announce the 6 bills that we're not doing that was on yesterday's agenda, or last week's when it came out. 2155 was officially held. 2202 was officially held. 2277 was held. 2725 was held. 2732 was held. 2883 was held. So if you were here for one of those bills, sorry we are not doing those bills today. Okay, people in the audience and all 4 members. We have a lot of bills to go through today. There will be high discussion on some and some no discussion. On the bills that we have a lot of discussion, we are going to limit testifying probably to 3 people on each side. So for instance, the very first bill, I think there was 9 people signed in or 10 people signed in to speak. Who's here to speak against HCR 2060 that officially signed up in the request to speak? What I would like the 8 of you to do that are holding your hands right now, if you could stand up and walk over to this door and pick 3 of you between yourselves, like who you all think would be represent your position the best to speak against the bill. If you could just go into the door, and then the 3 people that will speak, have them continue to stand, and the remaining people please sit down. Okay, staff, please introduce us to HCR 2060.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members. Stephanie Jensen, analyst for the Government Committee. House Concurrent Resolution 2060 submits a proposition to the voters that directs a city, town, or county that receives state monies for a public welfare program to use the E-Verify program to ensure the adult recipient is lawfully present in the United States before dispersing public welfare monies. The resolution additionally modifies the definition of employer as it relates to employment practices to include an independent contractor or subcontractor to the requirement for using the E-Verify program after hiring. And Mr. Chair, there is one amendment.
Please explain that.
The Livingston 6-page amendment dated February 16 at 10:17 a.m. delays the requirement to use E-Verify until on or after January 1, 2026. It outlines requirements for removing a person from a public welfare program if the lawful presence cannot be verified. Defines public welfare program. It excludes independent contractors and subcontractors that are paid less than $600 per year from the E-Verify requirements. And it outlines the process for violations and adds state agencies to the E-Verify requirements and removal from public welfare programs. So with that, happy to answer questions.
Members, any questions for Stephanie? And Stephanie, I believe I also have a verbal amendment that was written. Could you explain that, please?
Sure. Mr. Chair and members, the Livingston verbal amendment makes a technical change to the current proposed amendment.
Great, thank you very much. And again, members, the reason we did that, we couldn't get it printed in time last week, but you do have a hard copy of that was passed out on your desk, so you have that, a very simple change. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, Mr. Vice Chair, please move this HCR 2060.
Mr. Chair, I move that House Concurrent Resolution 2060 receive a due pass recommendation.
Thank you, and now can you move my Livingston amendment?
Mr. Chair, I move that the 6-page Livingston amendment dated February 16, 2024 at 10:17 a.m. be adopted.
Members, you've heard that motion on the Livingston 6-page amendment. All those who say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The Livingston 6-page amendment is adopted. Please move my verbal amendment.
Mr. Chairman, I move the following verbal amendment to the Livingston Amendment, page 1, strike lines 1 and 2, amend title to conform.
Members, you've heard that motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any against? The amendment is adopted. So now, members, we have both amendments on the bill. Speaker Tomer, would like to come up and introduce yourself, the district you represent, and tell us about this bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members. Appreciate you hearing the bill. Obviously, Speaker Bentoma, represent District 27. The HCR 2060 is a comprehensive measure aimed at ensuring Arizona taxpayers do not bear the financial burden of paying for the federal government's failure to control illegal immigration at the border. I'm not going to repeat everything that the staff said about the underlying bill. I will say that the amendment itself, so thank you, Mr. Chairman, for running it, expands the main parts of the underlying bill, and it also strengthens Arizona's employment laws. Since you probably know, since 2008, Arizona employers have been prohibited from hiring illegal workers or unauthorized aliens, including employees and independent contractors. But this particular amendment enables the Attorney General and the county attorneys to investigate violations of the E-Verify law and creates financial penalties and incentives to incentivize employers not to violate the law in the first place. Extends the E-Verify requirements to some independent contractors who are paid more than $600 per year, but exempts direct sellers. Independent contractors do not have to be repeatedly verified by an employer that hires the same contractor for work. Once an independent contractor is E-Verified, the employer has complied with the law. Independent contractors also do not have to, quote, do self-verifications. And the intent of the bill overall is to close a loophole that currently allows businesses to hire independent contractors without verifying their employment eligibility to work in the United States. Further, the bill requires all agencies that issue licenses to use E-Verify to confirm license applicants are lawfully present, and it creates a Class 6 felony if someone refuses to use E-Verify when required by law, or does anything to obstruct another person's duty to E-Verify. Further, it prohibits state and local governments from giving taxpayer-funded financial aid or benefits that exceed $500 per year to adults who are not legally present in the state. Only in limited narrow circumstances will undocumented aliens receive state aid. Moving forward, the state law must make clear that a person is eligible for the aid, even if they are not lawfully present in the United States. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Members, any questions for Speaker Thomas? Since there's a lot of people in the room, a hand and a voice together will help me. Saying none. Okay. Mr. Vice Chair, how many people do we have signed in this meeting? We had, I believe, 9 opposed.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, we had about 10 opposed and 2 if necessary.
Okay. And the group of 10 went out and you guys voted between yourselves to pick the 3, correct? And who are the 3? Just stand, please. 1, 2, 3, very good. One of the ladies first, and then the gentleman, and then followed by the lady. When you come up, please state your name, who are you representing, and I'm going to give you a full 2 minutes after you announce your name and who you're representing.
Chair members, thank you. My name is Lena Ablos, representing Living United for Change in Arizona, here today in opposition to HCR 2060. This bill is one of many being proposed this session that bring Arizona back to the dark days of SB 1070, the most notorious anti-immigrant law in the history of this country. Anti-immigrant policies like SB 1070 and this bill, HCR 2060, have a history of costing our state billions in revenue as a result of nationwide boycotts, separating families, and causing Arizonans to feel widespread fear based on the color of their skin regardless of their immigration status. In fact, the days of SB 1070 are also part of the reason why many of your colleagues, past and present, sought representation in this legislature, and why LUCHA and many other community organizations representing people of color exist today. At its core, HCR 2060 cruelly precludes immigrants from participating in our economy through employment and paying taxes on that employment, and has the potential to separate economically contributing families who have lived here for decades. These are working families that are as much Arizonan as you and me, and these working families have been at the heart of our state's economic growth, simply seeking to exist peacefully, contribute to our communities, and have opportunities to create a life of dignity for themselves, their children, and their families. Anti-immigrant laws like SB 1070, like HCR 2060, do nothing but negatively affect our labor market, cause national disgrace, and lead to heightened discrimination of people of color. I urge you to reject HCR 2060 and other policies that unfairly target our children, our students, our neighbors, just trying to make an honest living, and who are important contributors to our economy here in Arizona. Thank you.
Thank you. I can see why you were picked up one of the 3. You did an excellent job.
Thank you.
Members, any questions for our guest speaker?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, please, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. Avalos, thank you for being here and for that powerful testimony. On behalf of LUCHA and the members you represent, as a child of immigrants, I want to thank you for those powerful words. The question I have is, how would this language that's before us today impact Arizona's thriving economy, especially in industries at the border like construction and agriculture?
Yes, Mr. Chair, Representative De Los Santos. So we believe that this bill would negatively affect our economy, would negatively affect industries, particularly construction, particular industries where we currently have labor shortages. We currently have labor shortages in the industries of construction. We have a lot of public programs that are waiting to proceed to expand the infrastructure in the state. So putting unnecessary regulation on businesses, on particularly small businesses, has the ability to further hamper our economy in a moment where we should be providing resources to our businesses and to our communities and to our people to navigate rising inflation, our housing crisis, and just to contribute to economic prosperity of the state.
Members, any additional questions before the next guest? Go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Avalos, for being here. So I appreciate your points about the economy, but also I want to underscore employers, that employers at this point, I keep hearing, can't get enough people for the workforce that they need. I also had a conversation recently with a gentleman who said, well, I said there have been many people who are undocumented who've lived here for years, and he said, well, then they've had plenty of time to get their documentation in order and be here legally. Could you talk to that point a little bit? Yes. Mr. Chair, Representative Schwiebert, it is not an easy process to receive legal status here. It is not, you could live here your whole life. There's been studies done where there are immigrants who live out their whole lives without being afforded the process of receiving legal immigration status. So there is reform that needs to happen to our immigration system here in Arizona. We need a pathway to citizenship. We need opportunities for immigrants to thrive. We need safety for our communities. This bill does not do any of that. And follow-up?
Please.
Are these people who are here and are not documented but are working, are they paying taxes? In what way are they contributing to our economy? Mr. Chair, Representative Schwiebert, yes. Undocumented immigrants pay taxes. All people pay taxes. You go to a Circle K, buy a soda, you're paying taxes in this state.
That's right.
Undocumented communities, I believe, contribute, just in Arizona, $213 million in taxes. Thank you.
Any additional questions? Thank you. Thank you.
Woo! Yes, sir.
I was going to do the gentleman next, and then the lady third. Just one. Yes. Correct. The gentleman, please. In the white shirt. Yes, you. Who was the third person? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, you may go. Introduce your name and who you represent, and then you have 2 minutes, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Natasha Townsend, and I'm here representing Our Voice, Our Vote, Arizona. I come before you not just as an advocate, but as a passionate voice for justice and equity, standing in strong opposition to HCR 2060. We acknowledge the critical importance of addressing immigration concerns, but we feel this House concurrent resolution falls short of solving any real issues. Today, I find myself compelled to convey the profound repercussions this resolution may unleash on Arizona's marginalized communities. In our pursuit of fair and just society, we must tread carefully, ensuring that our legislative endeavors do not inadvertently become vehicles for perpetuating inequalities. The E-Verify systems have been criticized for their potential to discriminate against certain groups, including Black and brown immigrant populations. Implementing mandatory E-Verify checks could disproportionately impact vulnerable communities. Moreover, it could lead to delays in dispersing benefits to eligible recipients, hindering their ability to meet basic needs. We must recognize the challenges they face considering historical inequalities and systemic barriers that may be exacerbated by the proposed legislation. The bill's classification of obstructing the E-Verify program as a Class 6 felony raises concerns because criminalizing those who are merely seeking a better life runs counter to the very principles of justice and fairness that should guide our legislative pursuits. This would undoubtedly make things harder for those already grappling with socioeconomic issues. It is crucial to strike a balance between enforcing immigration laws and safeguarding the dignity and rights of all residents.
30 seconds.
Furthermore, while legislation aims to address concerns about the economic impact of illegal immigration, there is evidence to suggest that overly restrictive immigration policies can have negative consequences on local economies. This HCR can unintentionally impede the economic progress of Black-owned and Latinx-owned businesses. Also, I'd like to say that implementing strict verification requirements for public welfare programs could contribute to a climate of fear and hostility towards immigrant communities, and it may foster distrust between government agencies and marginalized populations.
Time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your testimony. It was very well done. Members, any questions for our guests? Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Ms. Townsend, for being here. Can you just give us a little bit more on how this would impede on Black-owned businesses and Latino-owned businesses? Just because.
Yes, ma'am. Through the chairperson.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Mr. Chairman, representative.
Mr. Chair and Representative. So there are a lot of immigrants who come to the United States who have the American dream, right? They'd like to start their own business. They'd like to find a way to make ends meet for their families. And so when you're here and you don't have a certain status, it's harder to do so. There are so many criteria to become eligible, not only to get your immigration status, but also to receive benefits from the government. And so it's important that we don't hinder them by impeding other restrictions on top of what's already there.
Okay. Members, any additional questions? Seeing none, Mr. Chair? Go. Okay. Seth, go ahead.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
This might be a better question for staff, but I heard you say the Class 6 felony thing. I wanted to see if you knew a little bit more about that provision and who would be implicated.
Well, when you,
Through the chair, please.
sorry, Mr. Chair and Representative, when you implement extra restrictions on people that already are disproportionately affected by other laws and other regulations or certain programs that they receive benefits from, it makes it even harder when they're criminalized for something that is not, for something in a way where they're trying to just make make ends meet for their family. So I hope that answers your question.
One follow. Please, Mr. Chair. So, as I read this, as a small business owner that employs people in the manufacturing sector, I'm a bit concerned about this. In that, like, I help prepare E-Verify, going through the process, and I don't know if I could be implicated in this if someone fails. So, a little concerned about this, is the way I'm reading it. Do you see small businesses as potentially being in a bad situation as a result?
I think so because, as Representative Schwiebert mentioned earlier, it's already hard for certain employers in certain industries to get employees. So imposing this new bill would make it even harder.
Thank you. Thank you. And is there one more question over there or not? We're good. Thank you very much for your testimony.
Thank you.
The third person, please. Another lady. State your name, who you represent, and then after you do that, you have 2 minutes to speak. Go.
Hello, my name is Jose Baez, and good evening to the chairman of this one, and also the committee as well. I'm a student at Arizona State.
Do you represent anyone, just for clarification?
Oh, I am.
Just yourself.
Oh.
Just so I know. Okay, thank you. I didn't hear that. Thank you. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead, start over.
Yeah, my name is Luisa Baez. I'm a student at Arizona State University, and I'm a U.S. citizen, and I'm a proud AZ registered voter and a student leader here at Nieto. I'm not the only one here, though. There are 1 of 6 U.S. citizens who live in a family like mine. I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak on HCR 2060 as it deeply impacts my family and many people I love and care about. This HCR is going to take us back to HB 1077. The reason is that a lot of when I was growing up, my parents were scared of taking me to the doctors just in case because they might get deported, they might get stopped, and so on. And it's the same thing now that's happening. Yeah, I'm older, yes, I'm of legal age, but I still have family members younger than me that also need that support. And I am a dependent, so I still have the support of my family attending college. And I also want to acknowledge the faith community here who also wanted to speak behind about HCR 2060. So if they could please stand up.
Actually, I would let this go, but we don't do that in committee. The chair you may ask the chair, but thank you. Continue.
30 seconds.
And then I want to end off when you're voting for HCR 2060, please think of my name, my family, and the people and my family and those who have touched your heart. We have the opportunity to do the right thing. Families like mine who want to work, pay taxes, and contribute to our beautiful state of Arizona.
Thank you for your testimony. I really appreciate it. If there's any questions for our special guest. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. Ibanez, thank you so much for being here. You mentioned retreating back to the SB 1070 days. Can you talk from your perspective as a young person, as a member of a mixed family status, what kind of trauma and turmoil these kinds of policies create in young people?
Yeah, so when growing up, even today, I'm still fearful for my parents, even if they do something as simple as not turning on the blinkers and stuff like that, which they do, but that's which they do, but it's something as simple as that, or even for no reason. Sometimes, officers are intended to do stuff. I still have that fear, and I myself fear, even though I'm a U.S. citizen, just because that SB 1070 really made an impact not only me and like several friends that I know.
Any additional questions for our guests? Thank you for your very good testimony. I appreciate it. Okay, we have no one else signed in that we're bringing up to testify from the public. Speaker Toma, you do a closing testimony on your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members. As I'm sure all of you know, I'm an immigrant, and I'm also a small business owner with lots of 1099 employees, contractors at work. That's how the real estate brokerage world works. Everybody's an independent contractor. So it was very important to me, Mr. Baumann, you asked the question having to do with how could you comply? Well, if you use E-Verify, the language is pretty specific in this case. That is, and they pass, the individual passes, that is an affirmative defense, and you'd be just fine as a business owner in that situation. Also, this does not apply to checking someone else's corporate status, or it's not intended to apply to that, and that's also pretty clear in the bill. Questions and comments were made about the economy, and my question to you would be: what about basic fairness for hardworking Arizonans that actually comply with the law and can't afford? How can they afford to compete under those circumstances? Another point someone made was that an estimated 213 million, I think, was the number that was given in taxes collected from illegal workers. First of all, I would just like to point out that someone using a stolen social security number to get to 1099 is highly unlikely to pay any taxes at all. But even using 213 million as the number, the estimates we have in terms of costs currently to the state are 2.3 billion. So again, how is that fair? At the end of the day, again, as I like to say, this is not an anti-immigrant bill by any stretch. I'm an immigrant myself. That would be utterly ridiculous. This is about being supportive of the rule of law and about basic fairness with all those that do comply. And I thank you for hearing it once again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vice Chair, please move the 6-page amendment as amended. Mr. Chair, I move the 6-page Livingston Amendment as amended be adopted. Thank you. Members, you heard that motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That amendment is also adopted. Please move the bill as amended. Mr. Chairman, I move that House Concurrent Resolution 2060 as amended receive a due pass recommendation. Thank you, members. The question before you is House Concurrent Resolution 2060 as amended receive a due pass recommendation. Roll call vote, please.
Representative Austin. Mr. Chair, may I explain my vote?
Yes.
Members, I think this bill brings up a lot of emotions around the history of this state. Unfortunately, I believe very much so that this version is part of SB 1070 2.0. Instead of it being a massive omnibus, it's different pieces of it, but I think it sets a very dangerous precedence for our people here in Arizona. We have responded to the fact that people do want immigrants here in this country. They responded to make sure that these populations are wanted. That was an example last year of the passage of Prop 308, which allows undocumented students to receive in-state tuition. But they also want a pathway for them to stay. And we have continuously asked the federal government to do something about that. It's a federal issue. And we've heard in Washington recently that there was a bipartisan immigration bill that we've been asking for almost longer than I've been alive. And it did not happen. It was pulled. And I will stand by our Senator Mark Kelly, who said, do not come to our border anymore to make a political show and game out of the border. Stop coming to take pictures, stop saying that there's an invasion happening, and then do absolutely nothing about it. We have seen this type of rhetoric around immigration. I actually received my degree in immigration policy from Arizona State University. The first immigration policy ever enacted was in 1881, the Chinese Exclusion Act. They used the same verbiage and language, that this was an invasion, build a wall, keep them out. And now that it's seen as one of the most embarrassing pieces of legislation that this country has ever enacted. We have to consider the precedents that this sets. It puts people in danger. It allows people to think of our community as other. I'll never forget, during SB 1070, a friend of mine was pulled over. She provided her license, her valid license, and they continued to press her about, well, where are you from, who are you with, and she's born here, her parents are born here. So this has unintended consequences, whether you think it will happen or not. And we have to be mindful of that. And I'm so proud to serve with other legislators here that are a part of the SB 1070 generation. We went to school, we got involved, we got educated, and we're here now. And we're not going anywhere because we're here to protect the rights of all Arizonans and all who live here. And we appreciate all of our communities. And without a vote, nay.
So, members of the audience, I appreciate your enthusiasm, and you're happy, you're clapping, or you're thumbing. Silence is what is required. You may do the little quiet hand thing, and that would be fine. I would let that happen today, just out of courtesy to everybody here. Some people agree with you, some people don't. We just want to keep it nice and safe. Please, next, please.
Representative Black.
Mr. Chair, briefly.
Please do.
I was speaking with another legislator today, and we found out we had something in common that, for me, for both of us, my first time at the Capitol was protesting SB 1070. So that was the first time I ever came to this building. I remember I left work early, came down here, and joined the protest. So coming full circle today, I'm happy to vote no on this. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Representative Carmel.
Hopefully that was not that loud.
Representative Contreras.
Nay. Thank you.
Representative De Los Santos.
Mr. Chair, may I explain my vote?
Please do.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll make 3 points here. The first is that, as we heard, HCR 2060 poses a serious threat to the rights and the freedoms of our community members. And let me be clear, undocumented people in Arizona are our community members. Number 2, HCR 2060 poses a financial threat to the working families in Arizona, including families with children who are citizens. The language in 2060 prevents immigrants from being able to earn an honest living and to contribute to our economy. Let's be clear. This creates a perverse incentive for people who cannot work to engage in illegal and potentially dangerous behavior in order to make ends meet. And number 3, alongside the disastrous impacts that this bill would have on our economy, it flies in the face of a welcoming, safe, and loving society. As Pope Francis noted, quote, despite the problems, the risks, and the difficulties to be faced, great numbers of migrants and refugees continue to be inspired by confidence and hope. In their hearts, they long for a better future, not only for themselves, but for their families and their communities. End quote. I also want to address a point that was made here about the rule of law. And I want to ask this question, because if we really cared about the rule of law here, if we truly cared about the rule of law, maybe, just maybe, people in this chamber would not be endorsing a rapist, criminal, and insurrectionist like Donald Trump for president.
That's true. Yes, sir! Woo!
Sir, that was crossing the line.
Ooh.
And I
Oh,
ask
no.
my fellow members to hear that message from your chairman also. Thank you. He did vote no. Next.
Thank you, sir.
That was a little funny. That was way over the line, though.
Mr. Chairman, I explain my vote, please. First off, this is already law. A reading from Attorney General Chris Mays. We know it's for employers. The Legal Arizona Workers Act, as amended, prohibits businesses from knowing they're intentionally hiring an unauthorized alien as of 2007. Skipping down, the state law allows a county attorney to bring a civil suit to suspend or revoke business license if a business intentionally knowingly hired an unauthorized alien after December 31st, 2007. Asking a bunch of frequently asked questions of the Attorney General. What is the advantage of using the E-Verify program? Again, Arizona law requires all employers to use E-Verify for new workers hired after December 31st, 2007. In addition, if an employer is accused of employing an authorized alien worker but can prove that the employment eligibility of that employee was verified using the E-Verify program, there will be a rebuttable presumption that the employer did not intentionally or knowingly employ an unauthorized alien. President Bush put this in place for federal contractors in 2009 as well. We use E-Verify on all of our 4 businesses. 9% of the lettuce in the country is shipped out of Yuma County in the wintertime. We use E-Verify for all those that are required. All those employees are used on E-Verify, whether they cross daily or they stay and live in America, just to ship our produce. So we can do it legally. It's required by law. This bill strengthens what's currently existing law, and I vote aye. Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, please do. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to commend Speaker Toma for bringing forward this important legislation at a moment of great crisis in this country. A poll last week produced by Pew Research revealed that 80% of Americans believe that the government is doing a bad job in dealing with migrants seeking to enter the United States. And this isn't a partisan issue because 73% of the Democrats who responded to this poll also agreed that the federal government is doing a terrible job in dealing with the border crisis.
It's true.
Arizona is not a sanctuary state, and this legislation will ensure that it never will be. We heard today from an organization, LUCHA, who has made it very clear what they want the border to look like. Wide open and unprotected. They've held protests chanting police, ICE, quote, the same shit twice, end quote, calling for ICE's abolishment. In fact, they used hashtags called Chinga la Migra. Quote, fuck the border control.
Oh.
And I think that is reprehensible and is everything America is not without a vote aye. Thank you.
That was way over the line.
Thank you. I want to talk to you a couple.
I gotta admit, that was a little funny though.
First, at the core of this bill is the desire to prevent immigrants from being able to earn an honest living in our country. This will negatively affect construction, agriculture, restaurant, and retail in an extreme manner. Arizona has a severe labor shortage, and our labor force participation is below national average. Excluding immigrants from our labor market and taking away legal opportunities for immigrants to work and pay taxes through that work would only worsen the shortage and decrease revenue in a billion-dollar deficit. And then I want to speak to how this is very much like 1070 and the fear that brought. I teach I teach at Tucson High, and I have had students for the past 11 years with family members who are undocumented, and they are afraid to go to the doctor. They are afraid to ask for help in school because their parents, their grandparents might be deported. This is no way to live. I was living outside of the state when 1070 came to be. My husband and I were stationed in New York. We moved back, and his father, who was born in Glendale, Arizona, but is Mexican, told my husband that he should have his birth certificate with him everywhere he went because for his job he needed to travel the state. And he That's how I get my last name, Gutierrez, is from my husband. And he looks, he has brown skin. And his father was terrified for him to be in parts of our state without his birth certificate. He was also born in Glendale, Arizona. That is the type of fear that we do not want for our state. It is shameful. I am a no.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Woo!
Hi. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, permission to explain my vote. I just recently traveled to several different countries, and in every country, they did secure their border, and we had to legally come in. And having worked with people around the world, in justice and equity across the world, we have people standing in line in our embassies who are doing everything right. They're dotting every I, they're crossing every T, and it takes them years and years and years to legally come here. But they still do it legally. And they have said they're desperate for a better life. They're living in impoverished countries that are war-torn, but they would never consider crossing an international boundary unless they were legally and lawfully allowed to enter, because they know that that's what they're fleeing from. And I think we all want legal immigration, as many as we can get, and we want to prioritize those that want the American dream, that are seeking a better life, but they're doing it legally, and we need to prioritize those people. I recently came in through America, through customs, and I showed my Arizona driver's license with my passport, and the gentleman behind the counter who had come from Africa said, I stood in line at your embassy in Africa for 15 years to do everything right, to be able to come here. Why are you letting everybody cross into Arizona without doing the same? I did not have an answer for him. He waited, he did it right, and I did not have an answer. So again, we have to prioritize people who are standing in line, doing it the right way, dotting every I, crossing every T, legally, because that's what they want, and that's what they believe the American dream should be. And with that, I'm an aye.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, please do. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, I have the incredible honor of sitting in this chair as the ranking Democrat on appropriations, and I sit here as an immigrant. I sit here as someone who understands the journey of an immigrant and someone who understands what an incredible country we have. I also sit here as someone who can quote U.S. American authors. And I'm going to give you a quote. This is by Mark Twain. He said, history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. We can look at 24 and we can make the similarities and the comparisons between from 14 years ago. The reality is times are different. Voters in Arizona have spoken. They said this sort of rhetoric, this sort of branding doesn't benefit Arizona. This is no longer who we are. And part of the reason why this is not going directly to the governor's office is because the governor would have vetoed this. And so what I'm here to tell you is that elections have consequences. And elections determine certain policy. Ultimately, I'm going to give you another quote. This one is by Frida. Frida said, they tried to bury us. They didn't know we were seeds. And so what I'm going to tell you is this. Just the way the last 14 years have shifted the narrative here in Arizona, I am confident that individuals out in the community are going to continue to do the work, to organize, to galvanize, and to make sure that this kind of rhetoric and these kinds of policies don't become law in Arizona. And with that, I vote nay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. May I explain? Yes. Thank you very much. So,
Ms. Judy.
everyone, all my colleagues on the Democratic caucus have spoken so eloquently about this and expressed many of my thoughts, but I guess I want to underscore a couple of things. This legislation really does nothing to make us safer or to make things fairer for anybody. Immigrants, people who have already lived here, sometimes for decades, having no pathway to citizenship, but who continue to pay taxes and contribute to our economy, are filling jobs that employers can't find other Americans to do. And at a time when everyday Arizonans are crying out for relief from increasing costs, our Republican colleagues are passing laws that will only increase the cost of housing and the cost of food when they can't find enough people to do those jobs. We need solutions. We need policies that will allow immigrants to work legally and gain citizenship, not further punishment that demonizes and divides people. And with that, I vote no.
That's what I'm talking about.
Representative Chapman, Vice Chairman Chapman.
Mr. Chair, explain my vote, please. Yeah. Thank you. These are unprecedented times. You know, I understand what the opposition is saying, and that may work when we have legal immigration in this country, but when we have holes in the wall, we have millions pouring through, not at the port of entries, but through holes in our wall, through the cartel. 24,000 Chinese nationals crossing over in our country, they could be military men. 169 migrants that are on the terror watch list. The ones that are carrying in fentanyl, cross our border illegally. And the sheer volume of people crossing into our country illegally. Not through the port of entries, I remind you. Through tunnels or holes or through the cartels. You need this bill. Oh yes, thank you. Thank you.
Members, I'm going to briefly explain my vote. First of all, I'd like to thank my members and thank the audience for following the majority of the rules. That was very nice and polite of you, and I do appreciate it. I hope the rest of the afternoon will continue that spirit. I look at this as the core of this bill is to follow the law. I really think it's that simple. The core of this bill is to treat everybody equally. Not give any specials anywhere. And the third point is to let the citizens of Arizona decide if this is something that they want in our Constitution. Those are pretty standard, good things. And I think, this bill is moving forward, and we'll see what happens, and we'll see if the citizens want it, but I believe they do, and that's why we're moving it, and with that, I vote aye. Members, by a vote of 10 yeses, 7 noes, you have given House Concurrent Resolution 2060 as amended a due pass recommendation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Okay, Chairman announcement here. There's another bill with a hold, but I want to make a brief statement on it, and that is my bill, HB 2860, the water bill. Very important bill. I've talked to a lot of people about this bill in the last 4 days, all through the weekend. To honor part of an agreement that was done last year, we're holding this bill today. But it's important, and we need to expand on last year's great bill. Last year's bill, in my opinion, is for quality. The governor and everybody's talking about conserving water. And how do we do that? How do we work together on that? And we need to do that. We need to make sure that we have the opportunity for commercial water to be reused, reclaimed, reused, and reclaimed. And we need to make that the incentive is proper to bring these great chip companies that want to come to Arizona and do business in Arizona an option here. We want to give the cities an
porque nomás tenemos otra oportunidad para poder matar ese bill antes que lleguen los votantes de Arizona. Entonces, ahorita no están aquí en este espacio, este espacio es para nosotros y queríamos abrir el espacio para ustedes si tenían cualquier pregunta sobre el bill.
Otra cosita, estaba escuchando ahorita aquí el proceso. Si esta ley no pasa a la otra cámara para el fin del mes, básicamente la podemos tomar como muerta. Pero pues lo importante es que ahorita nos vayamos este día compartiendo ya, porque este proceso va a ser probablemente la siguiente semana sigue la otra audiencia. Entonces es importante que hoy, esta semana, con sus organizaciones, empiecen a buscarle cómo le van a dar con su membresía, pero conectarse para la que venga, si la semana que viene nos dicen hay otra audiencia, hay que seguir con lo mismo que nos vamos a ir ya hoy, pero con más seguimiento, ¿no? Entonces ahorita sí es lo más importante, manden sus fotos, sus videos, que puedan, compartan, a la gente también que conozcan, que por antes sean republicanos, que tengan, no sé, pero hablen de la economía también, es muy importante, la economía va a sufrir en el estado, entonces pues gracias a todos por venir y vamos a darle duro, ¿no?
Y creo que esto ya está subiendo. Yo tengo 14 años con un negocio mensual y ha bajado mucho y nos siguen poniendo trabas de una manera y de otra, porque antes no nos querían dar la licencia gringo, la licencia de vendedor si no tenías un seguro social y una licencia de Arizona. Después sí nos la dio y fue cuando en el 2017 yo pude sacar mi licencia para vender. Entonces ahorita nos la podían dar con un pasaporte, un ID number. Entonces ahorita como si eso llega a pasar, ¿qué va a pasar? O sea, el negocio se va a ir para abajo, lo que has logrado en 14 años, y yo tengo 7 hijos y prácticamente de ahí fue donde yo pude sacarlos adelante. Entonces sabemos mucha gente que estamos luchando, ya sea como dice la señora con el otro futuro, y a ellos ahorita le están pidiendo un carro que lo pongan ya y todo, que te está costando $7,000, 7,500, y les están cobrando unas multas altísimas. ¿Y qué vas a hacer? Tienes que pagar esa multa. Es lo que se está mirando mucho en Glenda con el City. Entonces yo digo que sí tenemos que luchar por eso y unirnos y darle para adelante, más que nada con nuestros hijos, con nuestras familias, porque hemos crecido prácticamente y seguimos luchando y pagamos impuestos todos. Todos pagamos impuestos.
Yeah.
Entonces nos vamos a ir con unos chants para que nos oigan, pero más
Almost fell right
aparte,
there.
si podemos conectarnos con los organizadores de las organizaciones para poder asegurar un espacio para la semana que entra, ¿sí? Vamos a ayudar con los chants, ¿sí? Ok, nos vamos a ir para afuera. Si quieren un tour del Capitolio.